I'm AJ Christensen, and I am the chair of the ACM SIGGRAPH Professional and Student Chapters Committee, and I'm going to share our fast forward for this past year. So this is our committee. You can see that there are a lot of interesting roles. We're back to our full capacity since we lost a couple people during the pandemic. And here is a list of some of the things that this awesome team does. All year round, we're doing events intended to help the chapter leaders of the global ACM SIGGRAPH Chapters Network solve technical problems, solve people problems, work with each other to build a global community. And we do that through things like chapter leader hangouts, chapter recruitment to build out our network, technology, communications, website maintenance, and then of course planning things for the conference. And one of the ways that we really managed to do all of this is of course online interactions like this, but also just a couple months ago we all got together for an on-site meeting in Nashville at a sort of large Airbnb, which is a really great way for us to all merge our brains into one mega brain. So in addition to our year-round activities, we also do a ton of stuff at the conference every year. So this past year in Vancouver, we did a virtual chapter leaders workshop prior to the conference, and then at the conference for the chapter leaders who were there, we had just an informal lunch gathering so that we could kind of get some FaceTime with everyone. And then we also, every conference, do an information session for people who might want to start chapters or who might want to join chapters. We do a chapters fast forward every year where we promote what our chapters have been doing. Right now, I'm doing a fast forward for the committee itself, though. And then we also like to do this student volunteer luncheon, which is an opportunity to try to talk student volunteers into joining our chapters network and continuing to engage in the ACM SIGGRAPH community all year round. And then last year in Vancouver, we actually even hosted the Village, which is a venue at the conference that's normally run by the membership committee, but because they were down a chair, we agreed to take it on. And it was a really fun opportunity to reimagine the way that the Village can work. It was also a ton of work, so we're kind of glad that we're not doing it this year, but I think you'll see if you go to the conference in Los Angeles, a lot of the influence that the chapters committee had. And we tried to bring the chapters party back, but unfortunately that didn't work out because it turns out that all of the venues in Vancouver had been reserved for weddings that had been postponed by the pandemic. And so we just couldn't compete with that. But we are hoping to bring that back in Los Angeles. And then at the Asia conference, we did a lot of similar activities. We got the chapter leaders together for a gathering in a coffee shop. We held a virtual workshop after the conference, and also did the fast forward, also did the info session, also did the student volunteer luncheon. And of course, plan to do all that again. So I think one of my favorite things about the past year wasn't a specific moment, but it was just seeing how people started to reacclimate themselves to the conference, like the in-person conference experience. It was really fun to see people sort of starry-eyed and thinking about the conference as a thing that wasn't always a guarantee. They actually had seen years where it wasn't happening, and so it was fun to be back, and so many people were just having fun in the hallway, and while we were running the Village, we really got to witness that happen in front of us. One thing that I would say I learned over the past year is that the pandemic really didn't do a lot of good for us in terms of community building, but again, because people really missed that in-person interaction, we saw some really amazing in-person community building this past year. And I think one of the biggest takeaways from that is that for those of you who are struggling with leadership succession planning and volunteer recruitment, really in-person interactions can't be beat for that kind of community building. So that's everything for me, and I look forward to hearing more from the chapter fast forwards themselves. Thanks.